I said, Daily, you're gonna be the one to nail it. After all, you're my daily. Shout out Oasis. Welcome to the Daily Grind. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm your host, Luke Hatmaker, and joining me today is Daniel Greer. How are you, brother?
Well, we're officially canceled because we probably had some copyright infringements with your
Nope.
singing.
Nope.
Oasis coming back. You know what is also coming back? Scott Stapp. Speaking of Creed, Scott Stapp's coming back. He plays. He's on Reagan the Movie, which is a sponsor of Driving the Line, which is our betting show. But he is Frank Sinatra. He plays Frank Sinatra in the movie Reagan the Movie. He plays Frank Sinatra. Pretty cool.
Did you make that up?
Not made up. They're a sponsor. I've been watching a trailer for the last like 20 days every morning on the show. And I'm like, all right, I can't wait. I'm actually going to go watch the show because I see it every day.
Scott Zapp as Frank Sinatra is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Dennis Quaid is who's the Reagan? He's Reagan.
Ronald?
Reagan. He's Ronald. Yeah, pretty cool.
Oh my God. You got to warn me before you say stuff like that to start the show. I'm not ready. Back to the Daily Grind. So we've been talking. God, you threw me off my game all week. I've had questions all week we've been trying to answer. Grizzlies related. There's nothing going on right now. You're on vacation. Your show's been off. There's nothing going on. I've been like scouring the internet trying to find something. It's tough.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to talk to you about, because we're also talking football this week, is just defense. It's a defense episode, and we're going to talk specifically the Grizzlies defense first, because I'm going to throw some numbers at you. And throw some numbers. I did some numbering today. So last season, the Grizzlies defense, we were 12th. We still finished 12th in the league, like 12th overall with a 113.7 rating.
Nice.
Year before that, we were 110.7, which was third in the league. Year before that, we were 108.9, which was sixth. Year before that, 110.5, which was seventh. And the year before that, which was TJ's first year, and I believe it was Jaron's first year too, which was 1920, was 109.7, and that was 14th. So last season was the first season that the defense has dipped it didn't even dip as low, but it's the first time there's been a decline. There's been I almost said deprovement, a decline in the defense. It's not a word. A decline in the defense under TJ's tutelage. Obviously, a big portion of that is we were basically the skeleton crew at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean. We were, that's who we were throwing out. They were broken, but I don't foresee that staying out of the top 10 with our guys healthy. Basically, what do you think the ceiling is, and what do you think the floor is for this defensive unit as a whole, heading into the season?
All right. So have you ever heard of like a coach or maybe an organization, somebody from the franchise say, you know what you do? You take that videotape and you just throw it up and you just get rid of it. Like there's no reason to have it. Like it is the worst thing to look at. You maybe put it in the VHS, put your little tape of the VHS player one time just to kind of all right. Do we want to affirm that we just had a terrible season, terrible people that were actually on the team playing? Yes. After that, you go back to what you're good at. And so I think what you're going to see is literally, I think the floor is top 10, top 12. They're that good. The ceiling you got to go all the way to the ceiling is the roof. The ceiling has got to be number one.
The ceiling is the roof. Do you think that Edie, I think that Edie obviously raises that roof. The ceiling is raised exponentially because he's seven. We can do this. Two white dudes raising the roof at 7:45 in the morning. He obviously is going to push that ceiling up because, for obvious reasons, because he's huge. that combined with Vince Williams Jr. and a healthy Marcus Smart, I just think that, I mean, I said we were ranked 3rd 2 years ago. Like, it's like you said, throw that tape up, because otherwise it just got better.
Right.
And we just don't see the one thing that these TJ teams don't do is take a step back defensively. They just don't do that.
Yeah, and you're going to see early on, as they always do, they always struggle. Maybe less this year because you do have some vets other than Edie that are going to be return guys. But in that second unit, it's going to be a little shaky. You have Luke Kennard, who is a traffic cone on defense. It's understood. That's fine. That's not his job.
No.
His job is to be surrounded with guys like Vince Williams Jr., but also potentially Gigi, who is a good weak side defender. He's okay on the ball, but he is a good weak side defender. And then Santi is obviously, a traffic cone, but he was playing out of position most of last year. You're talking about a team that honestly has a chance to lead the league in deflections, lead the league in steals.
Oh, yeah.
They want to get up and down, because what happens is, if you look at this team, you're talking about Zach Edey, they want to get up and down, right? So if you get the ball, you get out in transition, you go. There's no reason not to get to the front of the basket.
Yep.
After that, let's say it bogs down, then you bring in the big heater. As they do in wrestling, you bring in the big guy. What does he do? He takes everybody out. So Zach Edey comes in, sets a few screens, opens everything up for Ja. Ja goes and takes care of business. And that's our half-court offense. I think this team's going to be much better because of them on the offensive end. I think they can get in transition. They can also go in a half-court offense. It helps your defense, because then the ball goes through the hoop. You have time to set up your defense.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up the second unit, because the first unit, I mean, let's assume that the first unit's going to be Ja, Dez, Marcus, Tripp, Edey. If that's the first unit, that defense is yay. I'm good. The second unit, like you said, if you take Luke, Gigi, Vince, Santi, and say BC. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Vince is the only true blue. I go out there, boy. I trust him. Gigi's good, and the second unit is where I worry more so than the first unit. But it's like how many minutes? How many? They're gonna piece together enough rotations where I don't think it'll matter. And Santi's not bad when he's playing in position either. He's a much better defender than last season would have us believe. Last season is just it's like, I need to get it out of my head. You're right. I need to do that thing from Harry Potter where he pulls the stuff out of his head and throws it away. Or just change it, like in the latest Harry Potter where he makes it better than it was. That's what I'll do. Can anyone make it like we won the championship last year? That would be great.
Well, what I will say is a shout out to Wayno's favorite player, Santi Aldama. I think you're gonna see a much better Santi. But as you were talking about the defense, you're looking at 6 minutes into a game, 6 minutes total of a game. Okay, if everybody knows how many minutes they play, 6 isn't many. Combined 6 total minutes of a game is you're gonna see the probably the second unit on the court together. All 5 guys together on the court. That's the most I think you're going to see. So at that point, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But they're gonna kind of move people in and out. But they have to get back to their 5 to open the game, to close a half, to open a half, to close the game. That's what you're going to see. Besides that, it's going to be so mixed match. It ain't going to matter.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, heck, you could throw Scottie Pippen, throw our Scottie Pippen Jr. fans, throw him a bone, throw him out there for 2 minutes a game just to get a couple steals. And then it's like, oh, yay, just to make up for Luke. There's options. Even if you look past the second unit, if you look at Scottie, if you look at Jitty, there's defensive Jake, even. These dudes aren't awful.
You said Jake.
I said not awful. He was awful last year. I don't think he's not awful. You could do worse. Okay. Well, Jitty's good. At least on defense, Jitty's good. I just don't. It's not. I'm really not super. Rewind this time last year. I was so stressed out about what was going to happen. I think I was on the beach I was just like, oh God, I can't be here. You know, like I'm just so of all the things that I'm worried about. One, that list is not very long, and two, the defense is probably the last thing from it. I'm more excited to see what this defense is going to look like. You know, like people are always saying that they forgot about us. They forgot how good Jaw is. They forgot how good we could be. Oh,
Hey, a little bit. So a little bit on the
yeah,
guitar.
yeah.
My a lot of the driving the line community. I just changed the scene. It used to be, as everybody can see, over my right shoulder here. It used to be Penny, and then on the other side it was Zebo. I changed it because I wanted a little bit of a different look. But this is over here. This is not something I play. I have no idea. I've tried to take lessons in the past and play the little acoustic. Listen. These fingers don't go with these hands. You know how like the rub in the tummy. Yeah, I can't do all that. Like I don't have that ability to play the guitar. What I will say is not to rain on anybody's prayer. This is my late brother-in-law's guitar.
Oh,
So
cool.
hung it up in here. Pretty awesome. He passed away roughly almost a year ago to the day. And so it was his. So I hang it over there. I love it. I see it all the time. But no, I wish I could play. Unfortunately, I can't. But yeah, I just figured I'd share a little bit because that's a special moment to me, special thing to me too.
That's awesome. You know, you could have easily just said, "Yeah, I played," taken it down, kept it out of frame, and just been like, and just played music. Yeah, like yeah, music. I would have bought it. I mean, shoot, I got a lightsaber behind me and a crossbow. I can't play either of those, but we're fine. We're gonna speaking of lightsabers and crossbows, let's transition to drumroll the NFL, where you can celebrate with lightsaber and crossbow type things and people not call you a thug like Jaw does. It's ridiculous. Are you excited for the NFL? You're a football guy. I know you're a football guy. I'm so excited for football. I definitely feel like an addict because I took a season off as a Bears fan because it was like, I can't keep doing this to myself, man. I'm on the edge as is. I can't be as upset. And then they pulled me back in, dude. They pulled me back in so hard. I'm all in on this year's team. Like, it's ridiculous. I haven't bet any money yet. We might talk about that later on or off air. But I want you here to talk football because I know you know your stuff. We've hit position groups all week. I want to switch to the other side of the ball. Like I said, it's a defensive episode. Yeah. I don't want to do a whole league primer, but like, what are, let's say, two defenses that you think are going to be really, really, really good? And two that you think that are way overrated. And that's it. Give me one overrated, actually, because defense is weird.
Honestly, you could probably look at the Bears and say they're the overrated. Unfortunately, listen, I don't know if you overrated. I just think defensive players are a different specimen. You want to go to offenses, like, yeah, listen, you have a quarterback that I don't believe in. You have wide receivers that are divas. I don't think they're as good as their numbers say. Defense is defense, dude. It comes down to schemes. It comes down to hard-nosed players. It's hard for me to look at a defense and completely pick it apart and say, hey, you're not going to be as good as you've been in the past. Because honestly, what are you doing? You're running a scheme. You're trying to hit a hole, and you're trying to tackle guys running crazy with a pigskin. Like, that's really what you're doing. It's not really that hard. Yeah. You look at the secondary a lot of times, and like the Cowboys in a sense, they were really good last year. You lose your defensive coordinator and Dan Quinn. He goes to the Washington Commanders. That could take a hit. They haven't been as good defensively. You have a contract issue with Micah Parsons. So, listen, I'm a Cowboys fan. I just think their defense was very much overrated. You had Trevon Diggs, who was hurt last year. I just think you have so many questions on that ball too. So you can look it out anywhere you want. But I want to ask you a question. Throw it back in your court real quick. So you're a Chicago Bears fan. Big excitement this year. You got Keenan Allen on the outside. He's kind of lost a step, and I think that's understood. Yeah. He can still be a guy who can be a possession receiver, right? Yes. But you also have DJ Moore. You have Odunze that's over there as well. He's very good. But you have one guy. He's got you excited. His name is Caleb Williams. I
Yeah.
want to ask you, are you so excited that you're willing to paint your nails?
Me? Oh yeah, dude. Shoot, man. I paint my nails, dude. I used to work. Okay, I used to work. I used to work at a funeral home for very briefly when I was at college. I was responsible for painting the nails. I may not be good at it, but shoot, I'll paint my nails to go get coffee this morning. Shoot, toenails too. Let's do it. Now, granted, I'm not the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, so I maybe I don't have a bar to reach. My bar is a lot lower than Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I'm if he plays well, he can paint whatever he wants.
Sure.
I don't care. I will be very upset if it becomes more of the off field, because we're at that point. Oh God, I'm gonna sound old. We're at that point where these kids are making money when they're in high school playing
100%.
sport. I just don't. I don't want you coming in with like all this. I love personality. I always tell people to be a little weird on this show, but if your job is to be an NFL quarterback, you got to be a good NFL quarterback if you're going to be a little weird.
100%. I agree. That's going to happen. Like, listen, you can be Caleb Williams all day. If you perform, you can do whatever. Look at Dennis Rodman. Dude got married in the offseason wearing his wedding dress. Honestly, I love the Worm. I was a big fan of his. I grew up a Jordan fan, as most of us did. Early on, as that's really the only games we could see was Chicago Bulls games, especially here in Memphis. And so I love what people can be themselves. I wouldn't necessarily do it. I think it's a little weird, but listen, if you want to do it, do your thing. Just make sure you win. And if you win, nobody will say anything. It's when you lose, you can't be the victim. You got to say, hey, listen, this is me. Win or lose, you got to accept me, or you can kind of throw me to the side. But I have some defenders. If you want to know about some defenders.
Yeah, give me some defenders. Also, before you give me them, I'm so happy that you mentioned a coordinator first.
Okay.
That makes me so happy because you mentioned schemes was one of the first words out of your mouth. I just think that's so important on defense. As a Bears fan, Buddy Ryan, on that 85 defense, it's just like I think that more so than offense, the coordinator matters. I mean, one of the best defenses right now, and I couldn't name maybe more than 5 guys, the Browns, but I know their defensive coordinator, just as an example. You need Schultz. Right. But give me defenders. Give me.
Yep. So listen, and shout out to Drew. I believe this might be his. I can't remember which one of these two dudes are the State fan or the Ole Miss fan. One of my favorite defenders of all time, Patrick Willis. He's probably not my top defender of all time. I loved Patrick Willis. He
Niners, right?
He was 49ers. He played Ole Miss prior to that.
Yeah.
Dude was electric. Probably one of the best, if not the best, in his prime. Like he was that good. Some other guys that remind me of him, and there's 2 guys. One plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of people know who he is, but probably maybe don't know how to say his name. His name is Foyesade Aluakun.
Thank you. Man, that was good.
Braxton. He's amazing. Like the dude can tackle his tail off. He's going to go up for possibly the most combined tackles, which is tackles and assists this season. I believe he came in 3rd last year. Bobby Wagner led the league. Bobby Wagner now was the Washington Commanders. But then my favorite right now, Zaire Franklin, plays for the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of people might have still been Colts fans due to Peyton playing there so long ago. But Zaire Franklin is a tackle machine. He should have the most tackles. I believe he was at 176 combined tackles last year. He should do the same thing. Anthony Richardson's there, so their team should be a little bit better. Should allow him a little bit more rest, but he's going to be a guy. So if you're looking at guys to watch on the linebacker side of things, if you're looking for guys to bet on, maybe over 8.5, over 9.5 combined tackles and assists, those are 2 guys that I love.
That's okay. So you transition to what I really want to talk about: gambling, money. That's from a movie. Sidetracked. Betting on defense. Is that the kind of stuff that you're betting on? Like how many tackles, how many interceptions? I'm just because I'm kind of new to betting on defenses. I'm I'm new to betting in general, but I love the idea of like prop bets on defense. I think that's so fascinating. For first time bettors, maybe like myself, who were trying to get into defensive, what would you recommend? Because I know you're like Rain Man over here with your betting advice, and you're handsomer than Hoffman. Come at me, Hoffman.
I will say the defense, to bet on defense is very, very hard, but also it's very rewarding. But also, there's three alsos. The Vegas, the sports books, they're not really targeting that much. So let me just explain sports betting real fast to everybody.
Please.
Why does Vegas have the numbers they have? Why is it minus 110, right? So it's usually minus 110, close to even odds, right? It's a decent line. The reason is because they want to get action, which is money, on both sides of the play. So if it's minus 110 on both sides, you have to think that's 10% each way, right? And so if they take money over a number, money under a number, if they have minus odds on it, they take those minus odd percentage and they keep those. No matter who wins, they're happy, right? As long as they get action on both sides. So if you see a number move, that's probably because they got more money on the other side of it and vice versa. They want to find their middle and they want to take like almost like a tip. We'll give you this. You play on this side, you play on that side. This is a great number. Both sides get money. We'll take the tip. We'll take the odds. Exactly. So that's how they stay in business. If you ever get on one side, that's where they lose. Such as they racked up last night with Colorado not covering. All the money was on Colorado. The Sharks, who were pretty much all the heavy hitters.
The Sharks is what I thought you said.
You can call them sharks. You can call them sharps, whatever. If you're sharp or you're a shark.
I'm not a shark.
But listen, I think that it's great to bet on defenders. I enjoy it. I look at combined tackles and assists. I like Zaire Franklin, Foyesade. Those guys are tackling machines. It can be a little divisive depending on if the other team is good enough to get the ball and keep possession. Time of possession is huge.
Oh, yeah, I imagine.
So if you're going against a team like the 49ers who dink and dunk, there's going to be a lot of possible chances to get tackles because they're going to dunk it down to CMC, who's going to have a chance, and you want to go tackle him, and that's where you're going to get a lot of your tackles from the linebacker spot. So it's fun, but I do have something big I'm doing this year with kickers. So this will be my first full year that I'll be automated for giving out kicker lines, and so it should be fun.
Oh, kickers! I wanted to have a kicker episode, but I don't know what we would talk about for 25-ish minutes.
Kicking the ball,
man. You remember when we talked, that guy that used to do it with his shoes off? You can't do that no more.
Nope.
No, dude, you get stepped on. I imagine. Last thing on this, do matchups matter significantly more when you're doing defense? Like if you're looking at someone who, like a quarterback that can't throw the ball to the outside, and so they're going to be over the middle of the field a lot, and naturally your middle linebacker is just going to rack up these tackles. Do you have to look at that a lot more?
Yeah, you're looking at, like I said earlier, it was the time of possession. That's the biggest thing, because if you're honestly, like Kansas City Chiefs are terrible to play against on the defensive end for betting, because they want to get a ball down the field potentially. They're looking for big plays. They will run out, a Pacheco here and there, but their time of possession isn't huge. The reason that they're so good is because they can, maybe spread the field out a little bit, give it down 20, 25 yards to Kelsey, maybe throw it over top a little bit, maybe check down to Rashee Rice, maybe Pacheco. For the most time, they're going to get down the field a little bit further, and so they're not going to dink and dunk. You want those dink and dunk teams and the more consistent teams. So you don't want to go after a Carolina Panthers because you don't know, what are they going to look like today? Terrible hot dog water? Or are they going to look like,
hot dog
amazing
water?
And so you never know. And so that's what I would play is you want to look at consistent teams that are good, maybe veteran leadership team. That way they know what they are, and they're going to just kind of pound you down the field, just like North Dakota State did a lot to Colorado last night.
Last question before we take a break. Who's your Super Bowl bet? Can I ask you that?
I don't have them. I would not play the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs win this year. If I had to play any, and I'm not looked at those lines, I'll after the break, I'll give you what my Super Bowl pick will be. But I love the Detroit Lions.
Me too. That's they're mine. They're my NFC pick, and it kills me. I didn't talk about Barry Sanders yesterday on this running back episode on purpose because I'm a Bears fan. It's like but I think I'm with you. I think the Lions are good team this year.
I agree. They have all the pieces.
And they've got all the coaching staff to like everything, top to bottom. It's like pretty good. We'll take a break though. I want to hear we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we're just going to talk about the weekend outlook. Because I found out last week Sean Connery was dead on air, and it killed me. I don't know why I thought he was still alive. Did you know?
I did not know.
Dude, you can process it, and after this break, we'll talk.
One of the questions as far as my writings for the Wizards was, what's going to happen with Tyus Jones? And I kind of was able to narrow it down. He had 3 teams that he was primarily looking at, and that were the Memphis Grizzlies, the Phoenix Suns, and the Atlanta Hawks. From my understanding, Memphis they offered him more money. Memphis offer was somewhere around $5 to $6 million. But they wouldn't have given him an opportunity to start. And I believe that was something that was really important for him.
I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't true, but I don't think the Grizzlies actually made a serious run at Tyus Jones. And at that number, I don't even consider that serious. You know what I mean?
A lot of people in Memphis didn't really want to believe that the Grizzlies were interested in Tyus Jones. And I think from what I saw on the internet, a lot of that has to do with you guys' expectation of what Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be. The Memphis Grizzlies very much like Scottie Pippen Jr., but I'm also here to tell you they went out and tried to get a backup point guard.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Representing your country and winning, I think I'd black out on the podium. Because when I watch these people whose names I won't remember a week from now, and they're on the podium and they have tears and I start crying because I'm like, what a moment for this person. I'm getting a little nervous talking about it right now, BK.
I would shed 3 tears.
Oh.
I wouldn't be nose running crying. Not that crying. There's levels to this crying game. There's
shoulder shaking.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Even when the tears stop, you still like, that's when you used to get in trouble though. Your parents used to give you, that's when you used to get beaten.
You stop.
Yes, you better stop crying.
Exactly.
Put that bottom lip.
I'm not crying.
Right, yeah. I would definitely be up there. I would cry.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I just need to sing quieter and not copyrighted songs, even though you're allowed to if it's less than 30 seconds, or at least you were back in high school. But welcome back to our show. You can catch the Night Court. You can catch Anthony Sane Show. That will be later today. The Two Buck Sports Show will also be later today. No Bluffins on Mondays. Got a bunch of Tigers Untapped. College sports are coming out. We know college football begins in full this weekend, but check that all out at bluffcitymedia.co. But back to our show. On our show, every Friday we talk about the weekend because everybody has a weekend. I know that's true. And in honor of Sean Connery, we talk about it like him. And dude, he died. Rusty told me last week live on air, and I was like, no, man, I would have known. I watched The Rock today, and it's he died. You would think it was during COVID. So that might have been why, but
everybody died.
Literally everyone died. And I know he got a little old in his old age. And so maybe that's why they just kind of swept it under the rug. But I don't know. I shout out Sean Connery. But back to the weekend. There's a lot going on this weekend. I know college football is going on this weekend. I'm going to be watching a lot of college football. Before that, though, or I guess after that, my weekend, I'm going to watch college football all day tomorrow. But then Sunday, I get to see Childish Gambino. For mine and Kyla, we got our son. We got him he turns 14.
Wow.
Oh my God. Shut your mouth. Yeah, I'm old. Look at this hair. Would an old man have hair like this? Oh, I made it worse. But we're going to go see Childish Gambino on Sunday. So I get a day of college football, and then I get to go see Childish Gambino. I'm excited. How about you? You going to watch college football?
A lot of college football. I'll ask you, do you remember, Bob Barker? Did you know Bob Barker died?
Today?
No, but I think he died during COVID time, whatever.
Because Drew Carey hosts now, right?
Do you know how old Bob Barker was when he died?
So, oh man, was he 98?
99. And shout out to Bob Barker.
Yeah.
Keeping it under $1. Always got to make sure you never go over. So shout out to our guy, Bob Barker.
Shout out Bob Barker, man. A legend.
Very much a legend. But listen, there's so much college football on. There's a lot of good games. There are some ranked matchups.
Yeah.
And so a lot
Give
of
me your
new
bets.
faces.
Yeah, bets on that?
Yep. Ton of bets. Well, I won't say ton. I have a bunch of good bets. Last night I hit on a plus 1,600 of both teams to score 10 points in the first quarter. And so that was exciting for North Dakota State and Colorado. I was coaching soccer. And so I came out of that and realized somebody told me it was 14-10 after the first quarter, and I lost it. I was excited.
Yeah. Dude, that's good.
It was one of my plays. But yesterday I swept on the show yesterday. I'll be back on the show less than an hour at the top of the hour at 9.
9.
But my favorite bets, we'll get to first one tonight. It's going to be Oklahoma. They're going up against Temple. You can have that first quarter bet. I love first quarter bets. You know why? Because I don't want to watch the rest of the game. I don't care about the rest of the game. But if you give me a team that really wants to be good in Oklahoma, a team that really wants to play hard in the first, we don't have to worry about anything else. Yeah. First quarter, I need over 13.5 points. So give me 2 touchdowns, and it's going to cash for me at minus 115. So good number. All we need is 2 touchdowns out of a team that is really good. Temple really sucks. So if a team that sucks playing against a team that's really good, 2 touchdowns isn't crazy. So that's my play of the night. That's the only play I'm on tonight besides a baseball play. But nobody cares about that right now.
I care about the Cubs.
Okay, Cubs. Justin Steele. When Justin Steele pitches, he strikes people out.
Yo.
All right, let me get you some local teams. Virginia Tech minus 13.5 going against probably your Commodores, the Vanderbilt Commodores. I like Virginia Tech a lot. I think they have a lot to prove this year. So if you're looking at them going against a team in Vanderbilt who hasn't been good, doesn't expect to be good, it is their home opener. A little scary of that. But I'd say Virginia Tech minus 13.5 is really good this year. Let's go down to the Swamp. I am a Gators fan. No bias. Guy. No bias in this one. Straight numbers, homie. It is Florida, I think, is +3 at minus 115 where I got last night. I think that the Gators are very good. I think they're going to be above average. I think the reason that everybody's talking down on them is because of the schedule. They have the hardest schedule in college football. It's understood. They don't have a great team. They have a really good team. But Luke, you remember how like everybody was talking about the rankings of all these teams and how good they are, and you look at like, hey, the recruiting rankings. You heard of recruiting rankings, right?
Yes.
Who cares about those anymore? It's all about the transfer portal, and that's really what you can look at your rankings on. So the Gators had, I think, the 3rd best ranking in the transfer portal. So they got the better players that came in. So that's who I'm on. They didn't have a good recruiting because they need to win now. Or that coach gets fired. And so, so those are my good plays. I haven't seen anything on Memphis. The numbers like minus 38.5. You can't play that, but you can play some first quarter bets for Memphis whenever they come out. And so, listen, if you got questions, I got answers. We can talk through it all day.
These first quarter bets, man. I
suck you back in.
You do, man. I'm like, wait a minute. My attention span is short enough to where I can be angry after sad or angry after the first one, but I'm good.
Hey, let me teach you about a first quarter bet. Let's say you play the first quarter bet and they go under.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to the rest of the numbers? They don't just go away. They're probably going to fall.
Yeah.
Then you could play the total, either team total on the rest of the game, the next quarter, because if they don't score, probably going to have a chance to start scoring early, just like Utah last night, put up 3 points in the first quarter, ends up winning 48-0, right? If they don't score in the first quarter and they're really good and they really should, look at that next quarter or look at the rest of the game, the total, because that number will fall. And at that point, you can double up on them, possibly lose both. If they're good, you shouldn't. And then at that point, you can get your money back just playing the odds there. So that's why I like playing the first quarter, because if for some reason, whatever hits the fan, you always have the rest of the game that you can bet on.
Uncle Buck agrees with you, and you said it best. Uncle Buck knows football. You trashed Rusty and Uncle Buck does know football. That's going to do it for our show today. Real quick before we go, I want to say happy birthday to our guy Wayno on Monday, which I think will be our Sunday. So we will not be running. I don't know how time. No, it'll be I don't know. Wayno, happy birthday, brother. You support us every day. I know we love you. Have a good day, my friend, on your birthday. Check out Jess Benson's show. It's happening right now over at Grind City Media. It's happening right now. She's great. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you for hanging with us. We will be back. I will be back Monday. Daniel will not be back Monday. Daniel's still on. When are you back? You're coming back
October the 1st, I believe, is our first show back.
You excited?
I am excited. I'm having a blast doing this. Listen, we on the Driving the Line or betting show just got picked up by a media network. I'll bet your boy is going to be on cable soon.
Yeah, dude.
I believe it's starting next week. But yeah, we'll definitely be on cable. And so if you have cable, if you have any streaming, we're probably on a channel. I can't share just yet what network we're on, but it is being signed today.
Is it Ronald Reagan? Is that what we talked about at the beginning that blew my mind?
Ronald Reagan is a movie. It comes out today, August the 30th. It comes out today. Scott Stapp is Frank Sinatra. Awesome.
God, what you did it again. Everybody have a good day. I will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Remember 2 things. Be a little weird and remember to smile. See y'all on Monday.